Welcome back to Tip of the Day. Let's talk about flow and how to get into a flow state more often. A flow state is a mental state of complete attention on a task and a sense of effortless engagement in that task. It's a very enjoyable experience and it's optimal for your performance. However, a flow state can feel elusive or like it happens by chance, not something we can control. Understanding what makes flow happen can help us experience it more. Flow is generally dependent on an optimal amount of challenge compared to our skill, getting immediate feedback in some way, what we're motivated by, and having a sense of control. All right, let's break it down. Having the optimal amount of challenge compared to our skill is important because we want the task to demand our full attention, but not be overwhelming or stressful or frustrating. An oversimplified but nonetheless helpful way to think about flow is that flow happens between boredom and anxiety, with our skills on the x-axis and the amount of challenge on the y-axis. Challenge meeting skill. As for clear and immediate feedback, it is important to creating a flow state because it allows us to see the control that we have over a task in real time. And it gives us some knowledge about when to make adjustments that may benefit our performance. If we know exactly how we're affecting a task, we're more likely to stay engaged in the task. And if it's difficult to see where our efforts are going, our engagement and our interest are likely going to decrease. Feedback also depends on our self-awareness. We can't always depend on peers and coaches to be giving us feedback. The coaching will likely help us understand how our technique is controlling the task in certain ways, but we must rely on ourselves to get that feedback in certain scenarios. And also how we process this feedback, whether it's from someone else or ourselves, can affect the stability of the flow state. If we're being perfectionistic, we might make unnecessary adjustments for the smallest of mistakes or flaws, or become fearful of more mistakes. All right, on to motivation. Flow states are simply enjoyable. Experiencing them more often can increase our intrinsic motivation, or motivation to engage in a task for the sake of enjoyment. And too much extrinsic motivation, or motivations by external rewards or punishments, can lessen our ability to experience a flow state. And the fourth aspect I mentioned, having a sense of control, is something that I already touched on a bit. But one last obvious but nonetheless important thing to mention is that our performance itself can affect our sense of control. If we're simply having an off day, or maybe getting a little unlucky, it may throw off our sense of control, prevent us from experiencing the flow state, or bring us out of the flow state. However, if we were to process or understand our performance a little bit differently, we may realize some control that we didn't realize that we had. But I'm going to leave a little cliffhanger for the next video. And that's it, tip of the day number 10 on flow and how it can be determined by the optimal amount and type of challenges, feedback, motivations, and a sense of control. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.